Yeah, start it off, Stevie. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Steve Van Diest. We're here at the ThoughtXchange. I'm here with my co-host, Cameron Barkey.
What's up? How's it going?
Today we got our guest, Renee, here. She's a registered holistic nutritionist.
Practitioner.
In
Alberta.
So you can, I guess you can start off just explaining to us what exactly that is.
So a holistic nutrition practitioner is, in the rest of Canada, we're known as registered holistic nutritionists. In Alberta, we're known as nutrition consultants, practitioners, and a few other things. As a nutritionist, we work with people's unique biochemical makeup to come up with healthy eating habits and healthy lifestyle habits to take you to your maximum, optimum health. So we deal a lot with supplementation and different types of diets and healthy eating and figuring out what's right for you, not just a fun diet or a fad diet.
Well,
so,
when you mention diets too, everyone always kind of thinks like, I remember when I was doing personal training and stuff like that, everyone would be like, I don't want to be on a diet, I don't want to be on a diet. And I'm like, your diet, everyone's on a diet. You just might be on a McDonald's diet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're all on a diet.
Right?
You know, it's just what does your diet consist of?
Yeah, people don't get that though.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people it's Doritos,
Yeah, that's
fast
true.
food. Yeah. And some of us it's a little cleaner.
Yeah.
I think I have an issue with diets. I am not a big fan of them.
Like a keto or like that sort of like
Yeah,
in a box
like,
type of diet?
You know what? I think all of them have so many amazing health benefits, and I think there are positive things to all of them, but I don't think they're necessarily built to be used to cure everything.
Yeah.
Everybody has, like I said, a unique biochemical makeup, and not one person is the same. So you can't expect a fad diet to fit everyone. I mean, we went through the paleo and the caveman phase here for a bit, and before that, I can't remember what it was. We have the sugar-free diets.
Jenny Craig type stuff?
Yes, there's so many different.
That was a fad. That was a massive
Well, I'm
one.
even like
So
I'm
many
even
different
concerned. Like
things.
if we want to talk about like if we're going to talk a little bit about food here, like and you just mentioned sugar-free diets.
Mm-hmm.
Like sugar-free diets I find are very concerning to me because one, if there's like those things that say sugar-free, and you look at the nutritional facts on there, they're filled full of chemicals. And I'm just like, okay, so now my body is not having sugar, which it knows how to process. I now have all these chemicals that I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
Aspartame type stuff? Okay, when you say sugar-free, this is just from my own understanding. Does that mean no grapes, no apples, no oranges? Because those are God's sugars.
Like fructose I find is good. It's more like refined sugar.
Your long chain
polysaccharides.
Yeah.
So stay away from that.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. And this is again where this is just my own personal opinion, but I do not believe in cutting out
You don't
fruits.
even have to say it's your own personal opinion. You can say the thought that's out there.
The thought that's out there. Let's just get real here.
What most people are saying. just if you want to
We're
like
open
that.
here.
I will never give up fruit. I think there are so many health benefits to fruits, and they are loaded with so many nutrients that I think the nutrients they are loaded with far outweigh the sugar
that's in them,
factor of them. Your body knows what to do with fruit. It knows how to break it down and absorb it and process it. And it's natural. So to me, when I work with clients, that when we're eliminating sugar, because I think sugar is like...
It's a poison.
You might as well snort cocaine.
Yeah,
every
It's probably
other day.
better for you.
Probably.
I
Probably.
I'm not lying, for
like,
your brain.
I think people don't realize that, and that the whole reason that sugar was even introduced into our diets, into the food, is because it's highly addictive. It's more addicting than cocaine.
It is.
So what happens is that now the sugar it makes you want to buy that specific product. So you basically
it's in a lot of bread.
It's in bread.
It is
it's in everything.
everything.
It's
It's in
like
everything,
the food.
yeah. Chef
Like,
Boyardee,
do you
pasta sauce.
know what the regulations are and how much sugar they're allowed to put into certain things? Do you go that deep into it?
It varies so often, and it's constantly changing. And I mean, a lot of things to remember too is with stats or regulations or the new levels. They just take the median of what most people have and find a middle mark. That doesn't mean it's necessarily the healthy amount.
They just don't want to upset anybody.
No.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden they said, that's it, sugar's poison, remove it from all food, everyone would lose their minds. It would be like, holy smokes, what? I love my sugar. You
Well,
know?
and can you imagine the cravings?
Everyone would have so much.
I just
We would have mayhem.
I just went through to add on that. I just
Yeah.
went through a 100-day no coffee.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I went 100 days no coffee.
Yeah.
But it was actually 99 days, and I don't know why I didn't wait the extra. I was actually supposed to go 90 days.
Yeah.
But then I added another 9, and then I was like, I kind of like Wayne Gretzky, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just stop at 99.
You need to.
Yeah.
You need to be different.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the withdrawals from that was about 2 or 3 weeks of me like.
Massive headaches you were
I
complaining
was
about.
I was shitting myself to death. I was shaking in my bed. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
throwing up. Like I was bad, and that was withdrawal. That was probably sugar too.
Yeah.
And it was sugar and the coffee. But
Yeah.
just to add on what you're saying, I think if we cut out sugar, like if the government was like, "Hey, the sugar's bad," everyone would be like, ugh, like everyone would be dying. It was terrible.
The anger that would be coming out in society
Yeah.
would be fierce.
I'm
Yeah.
having some
It was
interesting
awful. It
things
was awful.
happening.
Yeah.
I'm having some interesting things happening to my body as I'm kind of going through kind of my spiritual awakenings or my kind of things. I'm starting to have a lot of problems with food, and that was the first thing that I started to notice was that like all of a sudden like I had to eat very clean because not because I'm less like I gotta eat clean. It's because every time I was eating bad food,
Yeah.
my body was now rejecting it, and
Yeah.
I was getting sick, and I was getting sick very, very quickly. And I was like, I was hypersensitive to the food now.
Yeah.
And you start to notice and be like, whoa, I can't eat anything. Like, what can I eat? What kind of food am I allowed to eat? And
Well, and that's what most people don't realize is when you're eating a highly processed diet with a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, and a lot of the bad oils, there are so many chemicals in processed foods. And most people, you just get used to a certain way of eating. And until you clean that out of you, you don't realize how numb you actually become to emotion, to your body.
No, it doesn't pick up anything because you're having
No.
all this
You're dead.
garbage. You're
Yeah, you're
dead
dead.
with all
You're
this
literally
garbage.
dead.
Like there's no energy
Well,
in
and
it.
even you think, so with wheat and dairy, most people don't realize it actually stays in your system for 2 full weeks. So even if you have trace amounts of wheat and dairy in your food, it creates an opiate-like substance within your body that actually numbs your intestinal tract. So a lot of people will say, oh, I'm not allergic to wheat or dairy. I've never had problems with it. Well, I dare you to cut it out for 2 full weeks.
And then have it
Every
again and
stitch
see
of
what
it.
happens.
Hit your body with it for a full day. You will be sicker than you have ever felt in your entire life.
I can't handle dairy. I can't drink milk.
No.
I can't have cheese. I sometimes have, but then it just again on my stomach just feels like I'm
Yeah.
completely constipated from all the cheese. Like it doesn't sit well with me anymore. And milk is kind of an interesting thing, anyways. Like
Yeah.
I've always said to people, I'm just like, would you have breast milk
Yes.
from a human? And be like, well, everyone's like,
Yep.
yeah, it's so gross.
So
It's
why
got-"
you need
But I'm just like,
Exactly
but I'm
the
just
same
like, but
thing.
we're the only species willing to drink milk from a dirty udder of another species. And I'm
Yes.
just like, who does that?
Have you ever
Yes.
seen milk come out of a cow? Have you ever milked a cow before?
Well, they say milk is designed to turn a 100-pound calf
Yeah.
into a 1,000-pound cow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like when you're drinking the milk, you're drinking those hormones to
Yep.
turn you into a 1,000-pound cow.
Well, and the fact most people don't realize how much sugar is in milk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how, everyone says, especially in the schools. So my kids are in school, and I was asked to be on the wellness committee, which, it's always a dangerous thing to ask a nutritionist to sit on that.
You ruffled some feathers.
I do. I tend to
Like, guys, we're not having hot
Yes.
dogs
I'm
here
just
for
like, no
lunch.
Yes.
Coca-Cola,
Don't ask me.
pop in
Yeah.
in this sitting.
I had one school ask me if the ingredients on a hot dog label were healthy, and I'm like, oh dear God, you seriously did not just do that. Like,
Wow.
So the kids, they run the milk program in the
Yeah.
schools, and it's a fundraising thing, which
Yeah.
most people don't realize. But there is so much sugar in milk, and it's so processed, and there's hormones and antibiotics and
Blood.
Like it
Steroids,
is.
yeah.
Oh dear God.
People don't even realize chocolate milk. The reason why it's chocolate is because it hides more of that blood.
Well, and you look at the fact, not to get gory and gross with 2 dudes, but girls are getting their periods at 8 years old now.
Yeah.
Something's
Something's wrong with that.
There is.
It's coming from the
Hormones.
hormones.
Yes.
It's
And
coming
there-
from the hormones from the milk and all that other stuff. Like
Yeah.
people don't get that. Like especially now that farmers are doing because they're trying to keep up with the demand, they have to do like factory farming. So now you got these cows now that are living in stressful situations. They're living in small corridors. They're not getting free roam.
No.
They're basically
No sun.
No sun. They're in these quarters. They're They're in these prisons where they can't move. They're stressed out all the time, and then they're stuck to machines now.
Yes.
They have machines in there
That are
that are
sucking
sucking
it
udder
out
out of them, and so like they're literally there. And then, from my understanding, you have to keep the cows pregnant.
Yes, you do. I didn't realize this.
They have to inseminate the cow
They have
all
to
the time.
inseminate
Yeah.
the cows all the time. So these cows are
There's
basically
like a machine.
raping them, and basically,
Hold on one second. Hold on.
We have a whole new problem here.
This is a really graphic situation here. Okay, who's raping the cows? Is it the machine, or is there some guy
There's some
walking around with
guy.
a giant glove? Oh
Yes.
my God!
There's a
Who
glove.
gets that job?
There's a guy with a glove, the farmer, man. It's got a glove, and he has to fist the cow.
Okay,
and
where's
then
he getting the sperm from?
From the bulls.
Who's doing that?
That's
What job is that? What job is that? I'm being honest though. Like,
these are actual jobs.
But you
These are
think,
actual jobs. man.
these are actual living beings.
Yeah.
That are being, like, we wouldn't do that to women.
No.
you wouldn't do that to anybody. Like,
No.
Can't do that to
like
anybody.
a dude just constantly.
That's the thing. It's like, and we don't. And what people don't understand. And
Wow.
this is-
I had them a year apart, 2 years apart, and that was bad enough.
Yeah,
Sorry.
jeez,
No,
not
yes.
all constantly. Yeah.
It would be awful.
And what people don't understand is that like all of that energy and intention and emotion that you put into it actually transfers into
It does.
into the food. Like
Yeah.
from my understanding, like again, I don't want to get too religious on this thing, but from my understanding, we're supposed to be stewards of our environment. We're supposed to be stewards of the animals, stewards of things. We're supposed to be guardians and take care of them. They're supposed to be there for us, but we're not supposed to abuse them.
No.
You know,
No.
and like make sure that they have a good life while they're living here, and then they can be gifts for us to continue our lives. But
Okay, this is a little sidetrack,
Yeah.
but I noticed on Facebook today there is a post where you can, I think it's in New York or Finland, I want to say, where there's actually therapy now where you can go cuddle with a cow.
I've seen that. Well,
You
not
pay to cuddle
yeah.
with a cow, which, I mean, it could be funny, but at the same point, maybe the cow needs the cuddling. Like, you think of what we've done
Oh,
over
wow,
the
you're right.
generations to these animals. And yes, they are an animal. And in our society, we think of animals as being so disposable. But they're still a soul. Like, it's still
They
a
work-
living being.
What people don't understand too with animals is that they work different. They work similar to us. Like we've actually have been disconnected with our animalistic selves.
Yes.
Like we all have it where we have those feelings and emotions, and we can kind of intuitively sense certain things around. Most people are so blocked off, especially I would imagine from eating poorly bad food,
Huge,
that
yeah.
their brain
The numbness is-
the numbness is there,
Yeah.
that they don't even have feelings, emotions. They can't even feel things, can't even feel your environment anymore. But that instinctive feeling and emotions that are around, animals have that to a higher degree.
Huge.
So then they instinctively just move through that realm. And like you said, like if you put them in like in a very stressful situation, it's not good.
Well, and like you said, the hormones that they're pumping out, like you think of a human, and if we're stressed, the effects that has on our bodies with cortisol levels. And,
Adrenaline.
oh, dear Lord, like all of it, and the release of free radicals from our systems because of the stress and the effects that has. You know, no matter which chakra you're blocked in or which part of your body you're holding trauma and the stress in, that's going to be your most susceptible to disease.
Yeah.
So if we experience that, and now all of a sudden we're taking in the animal products into our bodies full of the same hormones and all the rest of it with antibiotics and growth hormones on top of that, what the hell are we doing to our bodies? Like, and it's no wonder we already can't feel. Now we're going to dump in other feelings from something else.
It really makes it true of you are what you eat.
It does.
That really like is a physical you are what you and then they say kind of to add what we're talking about there is putting the intention, like when your mom cooks you food, why does it taste better than when you get it at a restaurant? Your mom put love in that food.
Yes.
And as silly as that sounds, when you're a kid, she was actually enjoying making the food and putting it in in like the enjoyment of I get to feed my children, and that's why that food nourishes you and feels you a lot better, as opposed to the pissed off chef at the restaurant like, oh, I hate working here.
Huge.
Fuck this pizza.
Sweating.
Hates it. Yeah. And then the ingredients at the restaurant, depends what restaurant it is. This is a very blanket statement because I've had lots of experience with restaurants.
Where like really nice and they really enjoy what they're doing. And
Well, and when there's an intention behind the food, like I know there's some new restaurants in Edmonton. I had just tried Canu down on Jasper Ave. It's an organic eatery. And that was one that I kind of went into by accident, and the food came out and the presentation was incredible. But the food was all raw and it was all organic and you could feel it. Like when you eat clean, healthy food with intention behind it, like you're saying, the love, and you can feel it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You digest it better. It's not so heavy. You don't get that.
What love went into a McDonald's burger?
It knocks you right out. Like,
it does.
Like, I feel so bad. Like I feel bad knocking a company and stuff like that. But like when we're talking about McDonald's, they're a big enough company; they can handle it.
Yeah.
And we're completely cut off from corporate, so we can say whatever we want.
But like for instance, McDonald's has got one of those things where like I don't know what it is, but I eat it and like it's an instant gratification from eating it. But like within 5 minutes, minutes, my body rejects it and I can't keep it down.
And you know what's funny? Their marketing was brilliant, because if they have you by the time you're 5, they've got you for life.
Yeah.
If they get you hooked on the flavors by the time you're 5.
Is that why I like the hamburger so
Yes, you still get the kids'
I think
meal.
that's all of us. I still get a kid's meal when I go there. Not a kid's meal, but just a small little cheeseburger and a little fry. I don't get the kids' meal.
That's the only one that I like was the hamburger and the little hamburger part. But it still makes me sick.
It does, yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting thing, and we've talked about this before, so we're talking about McDonald's. And you guys might not know this, but McDonald's advertises 100% beef. Now, that's the only reason they're allowed to do that is not because it's actually 100% beef. It's because the company that they buy their meat from is legally called 100% beef.
I think so. I'm not fully sure. I think that's true.
Brilliant
we have to
marketing.
back it up. Brilliant marketing.
We'll have to research that.
Yeah. Take a look on that. Make your comments below. Let us know.
Yeah.
Is 100% beef an actual company? Is it 100% beef Inc.?
Yeah.
I think it is. I'm not sure if that's conspiracy or not.
It's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like when you start looking
that's
into.
Not 100% beef. Like what? I don't know what is it, because like isn't that ground beef? Like it's everything in there. Like there's rats in that thing, man.
Oh, come on. You can't say that.
I've heard that the rats get, because they're in the big tubs, how are you going to know?
You got to say, well, allegedly.
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 I don't know personally because I've never seen a rat in there. But from what I'm allegedly heard,
I've heard some wild stuff.
I've heard some wild stories about stuff getting into the meat, into those grinders.
But you even think they didn't filter those pieces out.
No, who cares? No one's going to know.
No one's gonna know.
It's like
no
parts
one's
per
gonna
million.
know.
One rat for 1,000 patties, whatever you got.
Taste is minor.
Yeah,
Just
taste
a
is minor.
Mild wildness.
That's the same
to
thing
it.
with the milk. You know, how many amounts of blood are you allowed in there before 100 per million or whatever.
Well, there's even, I won't name the company, but there's even one major orange juice supplier that has delicious tasting orange juice. But they actually strip the color out of the orange juice and then inject coloring in. And it's a freshly pressed juice. Inject coloring in so that they're consistent, because they needed all the cartons to be consistent.
That's what they do with the potatoes in the McDonald's. You know, like McDonald's refuses to buy potatoes that have bruises in them.
Yeah.
So what they do is then there's the specific long potatoes, because they like the long fries. So they buy these long potatoes and they can't have a bruise. Because they don't want any of their French fries to have that brown bruise on it. So in order to remove the bruises, the farmers have to spray a chemical over their fields to basically kill off like pesticides that actually create those bruises.
Yeah.
And then they have to wear masks when they're doing them. And then they have
full suited up.
But we're gonna eat them.
Yeah, these are like football fields.
These are football fields, and then they put the
Stadium
stadiums inside. Once they harvest them all, they put them in there, and they have to like ferment them for a week. So they basically, that gas has to be removed from them for a week, and they won't go in there. The farmers won't go in there for a week, and then when they go, they kind of test them and check. But we're going to ingest that poison into our body.
Well, you even look at GMOs.
Yeah.
And all the foods that contain GMOs, and it is mind-blowing once you go down that hole.
What is a GMO? I know it stands for genetically modified organism.
It is. So with GMOs, what they've done is they've taken the seeds and changed, genetically modified the seeds. Some of them they'll actually inject the not
Other
antibiotics,
DNA in there? Is it pesticides?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them they change the DNA of it. Some things they just inject it with the pesticides and herbicides to avoid bugs from
Eating the crop?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the problem is that's where we're running. As the amount of GMO crops increased, our bee population started to drop at the same...
From what I'm understanding,
Yeah.
now, again, you guys can look this up for yourself, make your comments below, but Monsanto is actually behind majority of this stuff. They're the ones that basically run the Roundup and the pesticides on the organization. And what they're looking to do, from what I understand, is basically remove all the seeds, like seedless plants.
Yeah.
So what happens is these farmers are then forced to buy their GMOs from Monsanto, and Monsanto has full control over the
all
food, of all food. And so when you think of it like that, and you go, holy smokes, like our water is under attack. So you got companies like Nestle that are going and stealing spring water from places and putting them into bottles and then reselling it back to us.
They did
With
that in
fluoride.
California with fluoride.
With what?
Fluoride's another
fluoride.
whole, like,
Yeah.
isn't that, well, we're going down many rabbit holes,
Yeah.
but fluoride
Let
is,
me finish this stuff
oh,
because we're going to get into the foot.
Sure, yeah. Jeez.
So then you have our water's under attack, right? So they're basically, because that's true currency. That's how you control
It
it. If you
is.
can control someone's water, you have full control over
Yeah,
them.
you control
Our
the nation.
food is under attack. So
Yeah.
like they're basically trying to get a hold of all the food. And then the last thing is our air is under attack, where basically we can't breathe the air anymore because of the industries destroying that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and we have, like I've said to my kids, I have no control over the air you breathe. I really don't. I can control the food that you eat and the quality of that, but that's it. So, and the water.
And the water.
we
and
can
the
control
clean
water a little bit.
The air?
No, water. Like
Oh,
our
yeah,
water we
yeah.
can control.
No, you can
a
control
little
the
bit,
water.
A little bit, yeah.
but not
No,
much. Like,
but it is scary. We're at a place where we're already dealing with, and I mean, you look at, this is another whole, not conspiracy, but another whole end of it, is you look at the correlation between GMOs, our air quality, our water contamination, and autism rates. And it is insane.
Are they parallel with each other? Like
It's
they're just...
insane. And so I want to say 12 years ago when I looked at the stats for autism, it was 1 in 136 kids had autism.
That's a lot.
We're now, 10 years later, at 1 in 36.
What varying degrees? Like, is there degrees of
Just the
autism
spectrum disorders. So, but that includes Tourette's, autism.
itself?
these are all neurological
It
problems.
is. But then on top of that, you add in asthma, allergies, eczema, all the rest of these things that all start with
From
gut
the
health.
gut health.
Yeah.
And I had asked one specialist from the States, I said, what is the percentage of healthy children nowadays? And he's like, there aren't any. Every child
Holy
deals
smokes.
with
Like, that's-
Some
something.
things they're
That's
dealing
like,
with.
you know what?
Yes.
That's the increase in becoming a doctor. Like now, being a doctor is you like
Well, it's a
you have
huge
to need
money
5
making.
doctors per street. because
Pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
massive.
Pharmaceuticals
Huge.
are
Get the
massive.
Get the people
on this
sick
side.
and then sell
Get
them
them
the
sick
pills.
and then sell them pills, and it's all
And
like
all
like,
these issues, like a lot of these issues. So you look at mental health right now with how prevalent that is and all the shootings in the States and all this kind of stuff. And all ADHD, OCD, all these Ds, because there's a lot of Ds.
Yeah.
Oh, there
And
is. Yeah.
depression and anxiety. Like everybody has anxiety nowadays.
Yeah.
All the medications they give you for that, which I am not against. There are truly situations where you
you
do
need that, yeah.
that medication 100%.
But it's got to be an assisted way to get you off of it. It can't be a
Yes.
handicap where like you need it now for the rest of your life.
No, you take it while you get the rest of everything else
Fixed.
fixed, so
Balance
you don't
out, yeah.
need it.
So you can balance back.
But all these meds they give you metabolize in your liver.
You get ulcers from that.
Yeah.
And like people like it eats up their stomachs because
Well-
their body's trying to break down these pills.
And you think your liver is your powerhouse.
Yeah.
That's where you detoxify. That's where your blood circulates. Like it helps break down, it releases different enzymes, stuff like your liver is literally the powerhouse of your body.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden, that goes back to your, statement in the beginning of people are so numb. And when I started to, experience my spirituality, food started to react. It all goes
So
part and parcel
people
with
people
that.
forget, like people are so concerned with money right now when
Yeah.
money is just a piece of paper. It has
Yeah.
it only has value that we give when the real things that we need to be valuing is what kind of food we're putting into our bodies, what kind of water are we drinking, like what kind of air are we breathing, what kind of environment are we around, who are the people we are hanging around with.
Well, and I think it all goes down to one small thing, which I think you do a lot with in your practice, is mindfulness.
Yeah.
It is being mindful of the food we're taking in, the water we're drinking. Our emotions when we're eating it are huge to the effect of how our metabolism digests.
Massively, yeah.
Yes,
You don't eating in a
processed
rush
foods.
is terrible.
Eating in a rush, eating when
Angry.
you're upset,
Yeah, not
and
good.
all of it.
Relationship with food's
huge. It creates toxins in your body.
To ask you a question, we're going on liver. Are you able to tell us some things that, because this was a long time ago. I was bodybuilding and stuff like that. I hit a plateau in my bodybuilding career, and I did a cycle of steroids one time, and I didn't inject. These were I used to be a bouncer back in the day, and I was about 245 pounds. But I was a horse. I was lifting a decent amount of weight.
Yeah.
But I hit this massive plateau, and one thing led to another. I bump into another bouncer friend of mine. He's like, "Here, take these pills, see what happens." So I was like, "Okay, whatever." Anyways, I did that for X amount of however long that lasted for. But he was like, "You need to take care of your liver." But what I'm
Milk
getting
thistle.
to, I was eating milk thistle.
Now you're a chemist.
Yeah.
You have some milk thistle.
Well,
and
no,
then
no,
you need to take some estrogen blockers.
Yeah, that's
No, I did that.
exactly
Yeah,
it.
no, I did that. I did that because I didn't want
See
to
him
go what
munching on
happens.
artichokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm just a long roundabout way, as I don't know too much about liver health.
Yeah.
But I do know that I think milk thistle is good for. What
It
are a
is.
couple other things that detoxify your liver or will do that, or foods or supplements?
Milk thistle is amazing.
Yeah. What is milk thistle anyway? Like I just know it's a
actually
pill.
a thistle.
Yeah.
So it is the weeds, the noxious weeds that the counties kill in the
So
summertime.
the ones that stick to you? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, they're beautiful, but they hurt like a banshee.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the weeds that our counties around Edmonton area kill in the summers are actually the weeds that our bodies need to help detoxify.
Yeah.
So you look
Dandelion?
at dandelions.
Dandelion does
yeah,
that too?
That's another huge one. And I know a few of my girlfriends are.
Case of McDonald's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's actually one of my best friends.
Oh, that's your bestie.
We used to live in the country,
Yeah.
and she'd be out in our backyard picking all our dandelions because we didn't spray anything, and the screen went.
Yeah, the screen went.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
Just leave it.
yeah, dandelions are amazing.
Yeah.
Bitter greens. So your arugula, your spinach, your
Dark greens. What's the other one? Kale. Everyone really like kale right now. Spinach.
Kale. Spinach is really good too. You just have to be careful you're not eating too much of it raw. Like this time of the year, I would generally steam or lightly blanch your produce. Raw in our cold climate
It hurts.
it's too hard on our bodies.
Another thing to add, this is more of like an Ayurvedic practice, I believe, but it's eating in season. So like
Yes.
eating, it's in the middle of winter right now here in Edmonton, Alberta, but eating a dragon fruit is probably not the best for us.
No, and a mango's a prime example for that. Mangoes are actually a cooling fruit.
Yeah.
So in Ayurvedic and just in Eastern medicine. So if mango is a cooling fruit, when you eat it in the winter, it's
You're
going to
gonna make
cool
it
you
cool.
from the inside,
Yeah.
which is not what we want when it's
Gonna
minus
warm up.
40. Yeah. So eating like at this time of the year, eating for the season, stews, hot foods. This is a time of the year where our bodies, especially in our climate, actually do. I'm not saying everyone should be a meat eater. I'm not, but it is a good time of the year for us to actually ingest meat because we need
it
to
sits
stay
longer?
warm from the inside out. Yeah.
And so it sits in your body longer?
it
takes
does.
longer
Oh
to
man, a
digest.
big stew right now would be so like. I know what you're saying, like you don't want to eat that's kind of crazy you say that because like in the middle of summer and it's plus 30, the last thing you want to eat is a giant stew.
Yes.
Right? But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just made that click in my head right now. I'm like, yeah,
soups.
that's no.
You think of like carrot soups, acorns, like your squash soups,
Oh, that
potatoes,
sounds so
root
good.
vegetables, borscht, like
Because all the vegetables have now been pulled already to eat
yes,
over the winter.
and that's
You
why
know?
they store for the season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
This
can
makes
go
sense
into the
now.
root cellar and whip them up, and those are the types of things our bodies, especially in Alberta, need is the warming foods.
Yeah.
So, and eating meat in moderation. You don't need. People seem to think, especially Alberta, because we really like steak.
Steak, yeah.
Well, we have a lot of
and
steak farmers out here.
More
right?
steak. Yeah, we do.
That's what it is, yeah. Steak and canola.
I'm eating
Yeah.
one tonight, to be honest. I'm fond of steak out right now.
I do love a good steak.
Yeah.
But you only need about the size of your palm. So we don't need the, the
big
porterhouse.
They're so good.
It is.
32-ounce porterhouse steak.
As your arteries are like,
I can't digest it, and then you can't eat for 4 days because your stomach's
flinging
packed.
your body around to get to the washroom.
Jeez.
Yeah. So just remembering the size portion, especially with your meats, and a lot of steaming vegetables, warming your vegetables. Things like brown rice are awesome at this time of the year to go along with those stews, and cachatis and
Quinoa?
yes,
Quinoa's a good one.
quinoa is awesome. So it's just remembering, yes, in our climate, it's not ideal to do a raw diet. If you do a raw diet, that's amazing, but you'd have to be doing other things in your practice to warm your body from the inside out, whether it's breathing exercises or like I know the Wim Hof.
I've been doing that for 2 years now.
Yeah.
That's a whole other rabbit hole of
It is. My other half likes to have the hot, cold showers.
Yeah, it's supposed to, the cold shower is supposed to stimulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to
blood
kind of
flow,
like all
transfer
that
blood.
negative
Yeah.
energy that kind of stores up in the body.
Huge.
It's like a shocking system, and it almost forces it out of your system.
It is shocking.
Yeah, so
wouldn't-
it's hard. I've been slowly trying to like get the water colder, but I'm just like, I really love my warm
I do
showers.
too, like
so it's
hot.
Like it's hot. Like not that hot,
Burning.
not scalding, but like but it's hard. Like, so I'm trying to go down, so it's the last thing that I do, and I'm like I gotta go.
I scream like a little girl. Like it just makes me
Yeah.
instantly want to punch a wall. I don't know why. I may have some work to do in this area still.
It's a wild, like, to speak on the Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
And talking about working the area. At first, when you start doing that, especially the cold shower thing, you do want to punch a wall. You want to cry. Like, I've been doing it for 2 years now, but I went a year straight without a hot shower. Like, it was I went 365 days on frozen. Like, I didn't do medium and then to cold. No, I just went. I'm an all or nothing type of dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going right cold. But then I put my hand in it and I'm like, dear God. And then
Almost feels like it's burning you
It
now.
does. It does feel like
it's painful
burning.
and it's scary. And then I'm pacing around in this little bathroom going back and forth. This is 2 years ago. And I'm just like, why in the hell am I scared to go into a shower? Like, I was like...
But it's mind over matter
it's a
again,
mind over
too.
matter thing, yeah.
And it's that mindfulness. And,
Yeah.
But the breathing practices that he does are phenomenal, and the breath work. And I honestly, if you can breathe through things, it is amazing how much more effective life can be.
Yeah,
How
it's
much
all about
easier.
breathing.
Yes, and it's all, like, you can eat, this is the toughest part, is you could be the cleanest eater in the world. And if you're not dealing with the mindfulness of it and your emotions and your breathing and oxygenating your brain and your body,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how healthy you eat.
Yeah. It just goes the other aspect too. If you do the opposite and you focus very much on your mindful and you can get all your energy levels very highly packed, whatever you eat, you can destroy. Like
you can.
because your body becomes pure energy. So then it basically can, whatever it takes in, any negative thing, it just poof.
Well, and
you
it's
can take it out. So it's like a balance.
finding that balance in
Finding
it.
the balance
And
between both of them. Because sometimes you can eat super clean. Like me, I'm eating super clean right now because my body is super sensitive. But now every time I eat a bag of chips, I'm in the bathroom for like an hour and a half getting rid of that bag of chips because it's just, I feel really sick now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, what happened there? Like, I can't eat a bag of chips anymore. Like,
what the what?
yeah. And like another
Probably
thing.
a good thing.
It
probably
is, but to
banana chips just
They're not the
aren't
same as
quite as
I
good,
know.
you
But
know?
I'm getting, but I can't go out. Like if I go out and there's something wrong with the food, my body knows instantly that there's something wrong. Like I remember one time I drove back from Calgary, and we stopped off at like an Arby's, and the second I ate the Arby's, I'm just like, I think the chef was sick. I'm like, I think he was sick. I caught something.
Well, it's because you're eating Arby's, man. Like,
No, but it was like I wasn't sick. I wasn't sick in a second. Sick. Like I literally caught something. I knew.
probably mucus and probably
Whatever it was, instantly that I had gotten sick, and it's really weird. Like my head all of a sudden gets this weird feeling where it just like a cloud comes over top of it, and it comes right into the sinus area, and it happens instantly, and I'm like, and I get mad because I'm like, damn it, someone's around me sick, and I have to try to fight it off. Yeah. And then sometimes I don't win, and I get sick, but then and I get really sick.
But even when you get sick, I think there's a positive in that your body, you think feed a cold, starve a fever. So if all of a sudden we end up with a cold, I think it's not a bad thing because your body sometimes needs that reset where we don't eat, or you know, if it is a cold and you're just having bone broths or mom's homemade chicken noodle soup because it's
Wow.
full of love.
I have 2 of those in my freezer right now.
Yes,
He
like
won't.
it
He
just.
won't let me eat any of it.
Because
What kind of roommate is
I know.
that?
I'm like, how many did you get? He goes, oh, there's 2 of them, and I'm just like,
There's 3.
"Sweet, there's 3 of them. I'm like,
Because the love was for me. She didn't put the intention. This is gonna make Steve feel amazing. No, it'll probably make you sick if you eat them. Okay, that's my
She
intention.
probably sneezed in it.
Yeah, hey? That's my intention. So
Build
get out of here.
immunity.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids always get mad. They're at the age now where they don't find this so cute and endearing. Is
Yeah.
They'll, you know, when they like something, they'll be like, "That was so good. What did you put in it?" And I'm like, "A sprinkle of love and a sprinkle of magic." And now they're like, "Yeah, you're not cool. That's not cool anymore."
they don't
not
believe
cool.
me.
Maybe-
They'll
how
hit
old
an
are they?
age- They're 10 and 12.
Okay, so in probably another 10 years or X
Yeah.
amount of years, they're gonna be like, "Mom, I'm so glad you put love in all of
Yeah.
our food." Like they'll
Can
get
you
it, I
make
think.
me the soup
Yeah,
with
can you
the
make me
love
the
and
soup? Yeah.
magic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now I'm not so cool, but in my
No.
mind I am.
So I want to bring back a little bit about the water and the fluoride stuff
Yeah.
like that, because like currently right now there's certain things that I'm doing, like I've been putting iodine in my water just to help to calcify the pineal glands and all that
Yeah.
stuff like that. So for people who don't know the fluoride, the whole conspiracy around fluoride, again, you guys can look this all up yourselves, but like from my understanding and from my learnings and stuff like that, and I don't know if you've learned any of this stuff, but like fluoride is a byproduct of industry and it's a toxin, sodium fluoride, and it's really expensive for them to dispose of it, and they're not allowed, it's illegal for them to just dump it into the ocean. So from my understanding, they came up with some cockamamie idea where they basically convinced the cities to buy it because it was
Good for your
our
teeth.
It actually started in World War II.
So
It
they
was Hitler, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
he was
sold it.
killing people with
so
it.
they
Yeah. As
sold.
gas,
they
wasn't it?
sold.
So, yeah.
They sold it to the cities, and they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. They
Yeah.
basically said, now it's not going to cost us money to dispose of it, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're making a profit from a product that we consider as a waste.
Yeah.
So then they now dilute it into the water system, which doesn't kill you.
To a small amount.
It's not, that doesn't kill you, but how it doesn't make sense to me. I can't comprehend. It doesn't resonate well.
It helps
that
your teeth.
poison,
Is
something
in-
that will kill me. Poison is something that we should be putting in our water supply where life comes from.
Do you know what's funny is I hadn't thought about water and all this. I
Move your chair in a little closer. You're pushing. You're
disappearing.
pushing away from us. There you go.
Okay, let's get cozy. I didn't realize before getting into all this
Yeah.
that when water, like from the last report I read, was there are over 43 different toxins in our water. I can't remember what city this was. It was in Canada, but each of those 43 toxins, the level are safe. But they have never tested
Altogether.
if altogether they are safe. So that was an interesting one for me. I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to kill my children and I'm never drinking water again. And
Well, so there's certain things that I understand that you can do with the
Yeah.
water. Since we'll say, one is change the pH balance.
Yeah.
So changing the pH balance, because most of our diets are very acidic.
Yes.
It makes our body very acidic. So turning our water into more of a base. So people don't understand that the pH balance levels are whether you're going acid or base.
well, and disease cannot grow in an alkaline
state.
environment. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, so when we change that pH balance, so that's one way we can do that type of stuff.
Sure is. Yeah.
Right? And the other stuff is the iodine.
Yeah.
Right? What other things can we do to help?
Reverse osmosis is really good, and it's not super expensive. I think you can get an RO system for a house for like $400, and that removes most of the contaminants. So generally, you want a 2 or a 3 phase filter process. So when you're installing it, you'll actually see 2 filters that you're changing out. You don't want just a single one. And keeping
Is that
those
like a
filters
Brita
changed.
filter almost, too?
No,
Like, no?
it goes in your, if you're
In
in a
your
house,
tap?
it would go in the basement and it goes into the kitchen sink.
Okay.
You can get ones that go through the entire house. One other thing people don't realize is your skin is your largest organ.
Yes.
And we soak in this contaminated water.
Shampoo, too.
Which is
Yes,
why my skin is very
yes.
having and it's so dry out here.
Huge.
I was in Cuba and my skin was phenomenal for I was there for a week and my skin was like, boom, perfect.
Beautiful.
Come back, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to go to the left field here, right field, left
Yeah.
field. Women, on average, come in contact with over 400 toxins by the time they leave the house in the morning. From cosmetics to skincare products to shampoos and conditioners.
Heavy metals.
Everything.
But that stuff gets absorbed into your skin.
It does, and you think when you're pregnant,
that goes right
that
into
all
the
goes
fetus.
into our fetuses.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways to control it, and with the water, RO systems are awesome.
We're like scaring our viewers
charcoal?
now.
Yeah, charcoal is really good as well. Getting the filter heads, you're gonna go stop at the store on the way.
I'm just like our poor viewers are just concerned about eating bags of chips, and
Yeah,
now they're like,
they've
oh
got
my God, the toxins are everywhere.
We're dying. Deer in headlights. And the thing is,
One step at a time.
It's literally taking baby steps.
Yeah.
Any small thing you do is a step ahead of where you were yesterday. So
I like that.
yeah, I'm a little hardcore. So we found out our son had allergies when he was very young. And he was allergic to everything but air, even the air. And I went home and emptied our entire house of every chemical, all the foods, everything. And it filled an entire back of a half ton. And then I went and bought new. And it was a long process to learn how to cook again. And as Casey will tell you, there was a lot of hockey puck loaves and nasty food in the beginning. But
Rice cakes.
yeah, you don't have to get overwhelmed. Like even
Yeah.
if you make one commitment to get an RO system,
Even just like, I think even just cooking a meal
right?
would be just cook your meals.
Yes, don't eat out.
Don't eat out. That's
No.
a good start right there.
If
just
you
start
have
making
a
your own
craving,
meals.
yes, have a craving for fast food, just go to the store and buy a chicken breast
Yeah.
and some vegetables. And it's the small changes that make the biggest impact. And if you get, like, I find so many people try and do it all overnight and you get overwhelmed. And
That's
it's
a
like
lot.
diets, you can't, if you put your mark too high, you end up not being able to maintain it. Whereas if you just do another step every day and make a mindful choice as to, am I going to do it this way or am I going to do it this way?
One of the things that have helped me with that stuff is I've gotten into just getting a meal plan.
Yes.
And then I don't have to work, because I love eating clean, like I do. I'm just really, I don't like to cook. I don't have time to cook. It's not a passion of mine. So I don't cook. And then if I don't have meals to eat, I'm eating 7-Eleven protein bars,
Yep.
Red Bulls, all like, and that's horrible
Grab
for
and
my system.
go.
Just grab and go
Yeah.
stuff. And the majority of us are like that. And I found the one thing that really worked for me is that dealing with meal plans. You know, like you have these people who like cook your food for you,
Yeah.
and it's all prepared, and you pick it up and you eat it, and I'm like, I'm getting healthy food on a regular basis now.
Well, and it controls the amount of protein you're getting in. It controls the carbohydrates you're getting in, the sugar. Because you can monitor how much sugar you're taking in when you're pre-meal planning.
Right.
100%.
And with meal planning, the other benefit of it is you save a lot of money because you're not just going to the grocery store and...
That was why I stopped buying, because I would
Yeah.
go and I wouldn't cook, and then I'd go and I have to empty my whole fridge out, and I'm like, oh, I just threw $100 in the garbage.
the fridge becomes a composter.
Yeah, I'm
and
just like, that's great. Nothing
Yeah.
can need anything.
That just happened to me the other day.
Yeah.
That was my dumbass fault,
He
though.
threw out like $50 worth of chicken.
Oh, you forgot the expiry
No,
date.
he left it on the
No.
counter. He was de-thawing it.
I was de-thawing it, and I de-thawed it overnight.
De-thawing it, just
Thawing
thawing it. You can't de-thaw. That means you're freezing it.
Hold on, no.
not
We're
early.
thinking defrosting. We're thinking defrosting. Yeah, okay, I was de-thawing it. So you left it. That's funny. Anyways, I left it there, and then I left it there for a couple days. So
It happens, though, you know?
because it took all night to de-thaw or
Defreeze?
unthaw.
To make it
De-freeze.
soft.
Yeah.
Thaw.
Yeah, to de-thaw, and it was. Oh, jeez. Okay, just to thaw out. Okay.
And we're all brunettes.
Yeah, exactly. There's no blonde going on here. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that was $100 down the tube.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so easy to do it, you know?
know.
So
Yeah.
easy. Or you stick the whole pack in the freezer and don't portion it out beforehand, and
Right.
all of a sudden you got to de-thaw
beef.
out a whole thing again, and
Oh,
it's all gone bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, meal plans are amazing. They're great for saving money. They're great for keeping you focused. They're great if you're trying to make a lifestyle change in the way you eat, and that way you can see what's laid out. And I find you don't get the munchies as much either.
Yeah.
One other thing that's super helpful, even with you talking about liver, that most people don't realize is protein before bed helps you with sleep. So for people, you know, and most of us don't sit down and count our micro and macro
Does
nutrients
that work for like
through
just
the day.
repairing your body while you're sleeping?
Yeah. So even if you're using a clean protein shake, slam a protein shake before bed and you will sleep so much better. And you'll wake up feeling more refreshed. Yeah, and then you start your morning with hot lemon water, and the hot lemon water gets your enzymes going.
Starts
and
it all up.
Yeah,
Kickstarts the
gets
engine,
you fired up and ready to eat.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, it's, you know, it doesn't take big changes to make a big difference.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you take a client on, or do you take clients on, like personal
do.
clients?
Yeah, I
What
do.
is like what's that process?
So I'm actually taking them in my home now, which
Yeah.
is great because I can do it how I want to do it. And I work one-on-one with them. So we go through their entire health history. We look at family health history. I'm not a fan of thinking that genetics are the be-all and the end-all of how you're going to live and die. And I think we have the ability to change that. So we look at history, we look at lifestyle, we look at emotions. So a lot of times,
Emotions are a big one.
huge, people will come in and they're expecting to talk all food, and
then we like talking about the blocks, the
you know,
emotional energy
it's
blocks.
funny because someone told me my superpower was making people cry.
I was gonna say, now you're like a therapist almost. People
you
are
know
like, I thought I
what?
was changing my diet.
I
Now like I need to
know.
call my
Well,
mom.
but that's what happens in personal training too.
It
When I was personal
does.
training, I spent majority of my time dealing with people's blockages and why they
do.
couldn't do with stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like them showing up, and then we have an hour-long
Talk about why are you eating
Huge.
cheeseburgers?
what happened this
What happened
weekend.
this
Why am I not charging $3.50 an hour? You know?
That's actually so true though. You're bringing up this deep-seated trauma from their childhood.
Well, and you feel bad because it's emotional going, if you've done personal training,
It's
you
hard.
get
It takes a lot out of you.
It does, but
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful experience because, like, you know, I said to you, food is just my tool.
Yeah.
It's not my message or my method.
Yeah.
So I think getting people in touch with their feelings and finding where that trauma is in their past and finding where they're holding it. And then using love to help and gratitude to help flush that through,
Right.
and food. So, you know, even with seeing clients one-on-one, yes, we do a lot with nutrition, and a lot of it's baby steps so that they are able to do it. Excuse me. And then it's working with lifestyle patterns. Everybody has a relationship with food.
Yeah, just like everyone's on a diet, same
Yes.
thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a relationship with food. So establishing what that
The
relationship
ship is, and just figure. It's like people are like people are in relationships right now. Like I've seen this a lot, where like people are in relationships, or they have a husband, or that they want to leave or do whatever and separate. And I'm just like, okay, so what you're just looking for is you just want to change the relationship.
Yeah.
And it says, well, I'm just like, well, you have kids together. I'm like, you guys will be in each other's lives forever. So that person's in your life forever.
Yeah.
You just need to just reevaluate what the relationship is like.
Huge.
Right? And it's the same thing with your food. You have to reevaluate the relationship with food and
You
why
do.
you're doing and eating a certain way. Right?
Yeah, you do. And realizing when you're eating your emotions and where you're eating your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, so many people deal with, like I said, anxiety. So many people deal with, you know, IBS, autoimmune disease, all these things.
And
that
that just
start
does
in
come from the gut, which is your intuition.
It is your
all
intuition.
your intuition comes here. So you feel all this when people, because you mentioned chakras before,
Yeah.
like, so there's these different, if you don't know what chakras are, different energy places. Like your stomach is an energy source,
Yeah.
your throat is an energy source, your brain is an energy source, you have your sexual energy source,
Yeah.
you have your grounding, your feet. But like your stomach is ideally where all your intuition, your gut feelings, all your intuition comes from. So when you have these emotional feelings, you think
Yes.
you're hungry.
Yes.
Because your stomach is doing all this weird stuff. You're like, I gotta eat some food.
Well, and what
Yeah.
most people don't realize is when you are emotional, you end up going for the sugar, you end up going for carbs, you end up going...
Dopamine levels,
Yes,
serotonin raises all
yes.
that.
Because-
Makes you feel good.
Well,
But then
and
you
we're
crash just as hard.
Yes, we're also so used to being in fight and flight.
Yeah.
We're so used to the stress and anxiety that when we feel stress and anxiety, we take in the foods that shoot us right back up to it again, and then we crash.
That's where we're comfortable.
Yes, we need that chaos and that stress. And the one thing that people don't realize is the one easiest way to deal with emotions is eating clean, but protein. And for me, I had all the training in the world, but it wasn't until I went through a divorce and the emotions and that I actually stopped eating. And it was actually we're going to get personal here. It was my psychologist. It was like, you need to get protein in. I'm a nutritionist, and I had to have my psychologist tell me I need to get
hilarious.
protein in.
It's kind of backwards.
Totally
You flip it on its head. Yeah.
Totally reverse. So it was funny to me. It was, just increasing the protein in our bodies. We are so protein deficient, and that doesn't mean just mowing down on meat. That's, broccoli and quinoa and brown rice,
lentils,
beans, food combining, where you're putting, your brown rice with sunflower seeds to get your full amino acids, or even protein powder.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I used to use this analogy a lot with people just to help them understand with food and kind of how it works. If our bodies were cars and our muscles were the size of the engine, we basically, what we do is the carbohydrates are the gasoline in the car.
Yes.
And the protein is what actually makes the engine bigger, so stronger. So it's for our muscles. And then the fat is like the oils in our body. And then the minerals and vitamins are just like the windshield washer fluid and the radiator fluid and all that other stuff that we need to kind of keep the thing going.
Well, and even with the car analogy, it's funny because people will feed their bodies shit. Like, there is no other word for it but shit.
Shit, yeah.
And would you put watered down gasoline in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
some
because
people
your
do.
car would start running.
Here's something crazy though. If you don't know that watered down gasoline in the car is a bad thing, you don't know what you don't know. And two, what happens if you could only afford watered down gasoline in your car?
And it's all educating yourself, and it's scary for a lot of people because when they hear this conspiracy stuff, not even conspiracy stuff, because it's legit.
It's just awareness.
It is what it is.
Legit.
It's real
legit.
stuff.
It's
It's
not
not a conspiracy. You got to be like,
No.
oh, you're worried. I'm just
But
like,
you hear
pay
this.
attention to it. Like, I'm like, it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense to you, start looking into it, and you'll start to be like, wait a minute.
But you know what's
this
funny?
is actually, why is we doing this stuff?
Is I hear people say, oh, I watch Food Matters or I watch Food Inc. I don't know how you can watch that stuff and not be affected by it.
I can't watch it. I'm scared to watch it.
You'll be affected
Food
by
Inc. You want to
it.
watch that?
Did you know?
I
Because I won't be
challenge
able to
you
eat
to watch
anything.
it.
Why?
Because I know what it's about. Like I've seen the trailer, and I'm just like, I can't go through an hour of this thing because
But-
I will never eat anything again.
But do you know what's amazing is I think you're already there. I think you already know everything they're telling. But what
But
scares
now I have to get a visual of it.
what scares most people
Yeah.
is once they know, they have to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's
That's a
only
lot of work.
You
It's
can
only you
fix
can fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't fix,
Yeah, and then some people think, well, how? Okay, so this is the other thing too. Some people think, well, what can I do? How can I fix things? And the biggest thing that we need to remember is that the only thing that we can do is affect our communities.
yes.
So if we focus on the people that are around us and the people, it's like a ripple effect. That's all you have to focus on. You don't have to worry about trying to fix the world.
No.
You don't have to try worried about like what's going on in India or what's going on in South America. All you have to worry about is what's happening in your community. Buy local food from local farmers because you know what they are.
Yeah.
You don't know what the factory farmer is who's supplying food for across Canada. You
No.
don't know
Yeah,
who
but
that is.
here's the thing. We've talked about this before. Your local farmers market's 4 times the price as
Because nobody's buying from it, because there's no demand and half the stuff goes bad, so they need to basically make money. If
Yeah.
more people bought from the farmers market, they could lower their prices because they're basically be able to.
Yeah, but then
supply
they just
more
turn
people.
into a big corporation like the one you don't like.
And the other problem is with Monsanto and the factory farming, their seeds are subsidized to the farmers. So, and their crops are insured because they can't get pesticides.
Yeah.
So it's easier to insure a crop that's controlled versus an organic crop where you can't control. And the organic seeds, because like you said, these companies, these mass companies are making it almost impossible for farmers to actually get their hands on ancestral organic
Seeds,
seeds.
yeah.
And
It's
they
illegal,
can't,
actually.
They can't seed safe.
No, they're not allowed to.
Hey,
seed
do you guys
save.
know where all the seeds are? They're up in.
Is it Alaska?
Not Alaska, like up
They're
in the
in the
north.
mountain,
They're in the
yeah.
mountain. Yeah, they have seeds from all over the world. If you don't know this, there's a seed bank up in the
Seed
north
vault,
Yes.
that where
Bill
bases
Gates'
seed vault. Yeah.
A vault.
A
yeah.
vault
is a
where
vault,
they
yeah.
have seeds from all over the world in a vault. Why
For
do they?
every species in the world.
Every plant.
I think
and
that's smart, though.
It is.
Let's say.
Well, then but they're planning for a catastrophe.
Well, and they can
know it's coming.
control-
That's smart, though. That's
Yeah.
smart. That's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah,
I think we should start doing that. I
Seed
don't know.
saving. It
Yeah.
would be a good
Saving?
idea.
Yeah.
Creating
'cause-
a little yeah.
Seed
place.
vault. Okay, here's the plan. Okay, what happens if World War III happens? Everything gets nuked. Who's planting shit, and where's the money's useless at that point? Like, there's a lot of useless things at that point, but like you can trade and barter. I know this is getting kind of weird, but like some next level apocalyptic shit. But like, maybe this happens to our grandkids. If like, I'm not trying to be dark or anything,
No.
but if it does, I think my little grandkid's gonna be stoked that Grandpa saved a bunch of like apple seeds that are worth the world.
But here's the thing, even with that, like, I think you look at Europe and a lot of the societies there, and they've got kids learning to grow vegetables and learning to farm in schools.
How many people know how to farm right now?
Dear
don't.
God.
They don't. They
no.
don't.
They're watching this and playing Fortnite. And
Playing
Call of
Fortnite.
Duty.
They know
You
how
know
to play
what's-
Fortnite. They're gonna be master Fortniters. We're gonna have a whole generation
They
of
can
Fortniters during our
Build
World
an
War.
amazing technological garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went on a field trip with the kids to a greenhouse, and we were in one wing of it, and it was all herbs. And I remember the one kid, the person who's guiding us through this saying, "Oh, this is oregano, this is basil,
They
this
had
kind
no
of
idea
stuff."
what it was.
The kid is like, "No, because it's like, no, it comes in a dried package. It's like a little."
Oh.
Had no
idea
clue
that it was an actual plant.
Yes, and there's actually, and there's so many medicinal properties to our herbs, to our food, to our vegetables, like all of it.
Right now, I'm taking lion's mane. I'm taking a lot of lion's
Oh.
mane. Been taking that, which helps with the neurons,
Yeah.
basically helping the brain. I want to try to get into what are some other brain stuff? Ginkgobiloba.
Ginkgobiloba. You got to think with your brain is made of fat.
Yeah.
And your brain needs fat. So we live in a society where low fat was the fab, and we don't need fat and no fat. So now all of a
fat.
sudden we need, we actually do need the EPA oils, the DPAs, the fish oils.
They're
Yes.
good
in
for you,
English
yeah?
terms.
The omegas, right? Or-
Yes,
yeah,
your
fish
omega
oils.
oils. Look at hemp. Hemp is loaded with omegas.
Good fats, yeah.
Yeah, and it's tasty too. But we need those fats in our bodies, coconut oils, MCT oils, in order for our brains to actually function properly.
Yep.
But we literally have just come off of 20 years of fat is bad.
Fat's bad.
Yeah.
Same thing, they say
Yeah.
cholesterol is bad. Was there LCL cholesterol and
Yeah.
HCL
HCL.
cholesterol, yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of wild.
it's bizarre.
We're running close out of time here, so we want to do, before we wrap it up here, let's talk about, give us 5 books that you think that people should be reading and stuff like that would help them out.
I didn't see this.
Even
one
3
coming.
books. What are the 3 books?
3 books and 1 resource to check out.
Does
Yeah.
it have to be food?
No, it
No,
could be
it
anything.
could be
no.
anything. Anything you think,
Okay.
any books that you're reading right now that people should be reading.
I think White is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell
Okay.
is incredible, especially for women. For men, I know Rabindra from
I've never-
Edmonton here. He's a big yogi guy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He had recommended to me with his yoga or yogi and entrepreneur course,
Okay.
and phenomenal. I'm trying to think of what I've read. Anything by Brene Brown is good. Just
Renee Brown.
yes, talking about shame and how we hold shame
Okay.
and
That's the lowest form of resonant energy.
It
If people
is.
know, shame is the bottom. It's 20.
How do you spell it?
Brene.
Shame?
No.
Same as de-thawing.
Same as de-thawing. Holy shit, hey? Jeez Louise.
Okay, so White is the New Black.
Yeah, I'm writing this down for my own.
And then we have what was-
Brene Brown.
Brene Brown.
is
Anything from
amazing.
Brene Brown.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
One other I really like is Bruce Lipton. If you're in for a heavy read, Bruce Lipton talks a lot about genetics, DNA. You know, in society, we're pre-programmed to think that our genetics, we're predisposed to illness based on our genetics.
That doesn't
and
make
that's
sense.
I don't
so not the case.
Well, they use that as
especially when we're
fear. That's a
talking
fear
about
thing.
Yes.
especially when we talk about evolution. But you know what? That has a lot to do with manifestation.
Huge.
So if you believe that you're going to get
You're
cancer
gonna get
because
it.
You're gonna
parents-
get
you're
it.
going to get it.
Yeah.
Your just
Yeah.
body will just create it because your brain, your environment will catch up to whatever your brain believes.
Huge.
Yeah, my
Well-
dad died of a heart attack. That means I'm going to die
Yeah.
of a heart attack. And then when the doctor confirms
Sit here
it,
waiting.
yeah,
You just
Yeah.
sit there
When am I
waiting
gonna
for
die?
it, and then
Yeah,
you're
man.
just like, "Did it come yet? Did it come yet?"
After I ate those 5 porterhouse
Yeah.
steaks.
Yeah. Oh, I think this
Didn't
is
run.
it. And then,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah. So
Jeez, that's
Also,
wild.
there's a really good one. I can't think of the author's name, but for the parents out there, it's conscious parenting.
okay.
And it just talks about how we speak to our children and the effect how our voice becomes their inner voice, and how that forever stays with them.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a quick little insight on that because that's a
Yeah.
great thing. So what people don't might not know is that our neural pathways are created between the ages of 1 to 7, and those neural pathways that are created become our subconscious behaviors
Yeah.
that basically dictate 95% of our lives. And that whole thing about we don't know what we don't know end up going there. And with children, and this is what happens with children, is that their brain waves work in a different theta waves or theta frequency.
Yeah.
So what happens is they pick up emotions and everything a lot quicker. And every emotion that's being presented to them, they internalize it as if they caused it.
Yes.
Because their world is their world. So what happens is if you're in a fight, if two people are in a fight with each other that have nothing to do with the child instantly automatically assumes that it's something they did.
Yeah.
And they create that neural pathway in their brain of whatever they did as a bad thing or a good
Yes.
thing. So these things and these neural pathways, the memory start to embed in the brain. And so all of a sudden at 7-year-old, that's it. Your neural pathways have been formed, and your patterns and your behaviors and your habits have all been performed, and now all of a sudden that carries on for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Until you actually recognize your pathway, and you have to physically try to change it.
You have to feel it.
You have to feel it, and you have to
Yeah.
understand, and you have to change the habit, and you have to
Yes.
create a new pathway, a new
It's
habit.
hard, and
it's
it is
hard
messy,
when you're older.
hard work.
Is this what happens when you take on a client and you got to go back
We
to when
get
they're
dirty.
6 years old
Yes,
and you get dirty?
yes.
What happened?
You know what? It's so neat watching people transform
Yeah.
and watching people reprogram and just release all this stuff. And all of a sudden you can see the health come back to them. And they can poop every day. Did you know that most people don't poop every day?
What?
No. It blew my mind.
How does that happen?
So-
I'd be scared if that was happening
I
to me.
feel like I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't normal.
Just like, why is he talking about my body?
Well, and as a in nutrition, we talk a lot about poop because what
It's
comes
cool.
out
It
of
tells you a lot, doesn't it?
tells me what's going on inside of you.
For our knowledge, well, my knowledge actually, how many times are you supposed to a day?
You should at least once.
Once?
At least once.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to poop after every meal.
But
Really?
What should it look like?
Food in, food out.
I know,
I'm trying to see a color. So I don't know if the camera can't
Okay.
see your
Color?
beam. But like if you think of a chocolate, like a deep chocolate brown, not black,
So like the mirror, for instance, you get the mirror is kind of in
that's
the
a little
camp.
black.
little
little
dark,
black,
but
That means
little
blood,
lighter.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, if you get black
Black,
poop,
not
it
good.
generally means
dried blood.
And
dry
if you
blood?
have
That's not
Oh,
good.
that's not good.
if you have green poop,
Yeah.
or any shade of green, it means there is bacteria, not good bacteria in there. You've got something's not right in the.
Can you eat, like, let's say, like a crazy bunch of kale and it would come out green?
It can come out more the color green of the kale.
Yeah.
But if it's like that kind of dark, I can't.
Or even
think
like a
of-
light green.
Yeah, like if you
Even
think
like
of
the-
khaki pants, like
Yeah,
khaki
yeah, yeah.
pants or camo pants, if
Yeah.
they come out that deeper green,
Not good.
No. And if it comes out kind of tan like the brick, the lighter part, it means you're not producing enough bile.
Yeah.
So it means your enzymes, there's liver issues, your enzymes aren't producing properly and digesting the food. So yeah, your poop actually, even to the texture.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the consistency
Yeah.
supposed to be? I know it's kind of gross, but
No,
it's a very important thing.
Yeah, shit talk is good talk, man.
Shit talk is good talk.
So you want it to be firm but not painful. You
Beautiful.
don't want, if it's stringy, that's not good. If it's rabbity, that's not good.
And
You
if it's
just-
runny, it's definitely not good.
Yes, yes. And when you do eliminate and you're sitting there and you get that feeling like, oh, that was a good one. You know you've had a good one, you know?
That's beautiful.
We'll end on that. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
done.
Thank
Leave you
you,
with that.
Renee.
Done.
Thank you very, very much for joining us
No problem.
today. It was a pleasure having you here. The
Thanks so
discussion was a
much.
beautiful discussion. So,
It was.
thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the Thought Exchange. If you're looking for us, you can find us at TX Show.
TXCshow.com.
It's only the second show, so we got to get this.
Gotta get it right.
We got to get it right. TXCshow.com.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Actually, where can we find you at?
Oh, actually, yeah. But before we go, wait, hold a second. Give them
At-
your information.
www.alamodemodernutrition.com.
Alamode.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Have a great day.
All right, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.